Okay, are you ready for the very best true ghost stories told by you, my subscribers? Well, come on in. Well, hello, my spooky friends. It is good to see you. I don't know if you heard that or not, but my neighbors are still celebrating the 4th of July. And Scully is the only guest I have with me tonight because Sachi, she's upset by all the noise. So I couldn't get her to stay. Sorry, y'all, that asked for her. Maybe next time. Usually, when I don't want her up there is when she wants to sit. But she's a cat, so yeah. But Scully and I are going to tell you the best stories that I've gotten from my subscribers. All right, let's go to the first one. This is by Jen Crawford. I work at a daycare, and this morning when I got to work, the director freaked out, telling me she'd been hearing my voice and literally looked everywhere for me. Playgrounds and all the classrooms and couldn't find me, obviously because I wasn't there yet. I laughed and said, I'm already haunting her. Well, I clocked in and started my day with my class, and then I started hearing someone calling my name out in the hallway. I looked in the hallway and nobody was there. This continued every few minutes for a couple of hours. And each time, nobody was there. About an hour later, I heard my name being, and I lost it, saying, "Who is calling my name?" That time it was my coworker across the hall, and I told her about hearing my name being called, and neither her or anyone else heard it. I honestly don't know what to make of this, but it completely freaked me out. Still don't know who it was or why they were calling my name or why my director heard my voice before I got there. Wow, Jen, that is crazy. I mean, especially since it wasn't just you. Your director heard it before you got there. Um, I there's not a really pleasant explanation for that. Sometimes a spirit or what they call a walker will mimic somebody and use their voice and but it's strange they're using your voice to call your name. I think that's unusual. Now, I have recently had that in my house. I think I've said this on video 2 different times in the last couple of months. My name, or mom, has been called by both my son and his distinctive voice and my daughter, and neither one of them were home at the time. In fact, nobody was home at the time. I don't know what it is because somebody's calling me too. I don't know. Maybe we should look into that, Jen. That's bizarre. But thanks for sharing your story. If you find out something, please let me know. Okay, this is by I think Hannah 5678. I was working in a long-term care home in the early 90s. The setup was that the hallways were in a square, with two of them visible from the nursing desk. The rooms were in pods of 4 with the doors set back from the hallway so we couldn't see the doors. One night, a patient passed away unexpectedly. We found him on our rounds lying across the bed. It looked like he had been trying to get up and go to the bathroom and had a massive heart attack. Oh my goodness. I was off for the next couple of nights, and when I came back, his room was still unoccupied. It was close to the desk. Around midnight, his call bell went off. Not the regular one, but the emergency one from the bathroom. I thought somebody must have wandered in there. I went to check. Nobody in the entire hallway and nobody in the room. The bed was still stripped. I checked the other 3 rooms in the pod. Residents were fast asleep. This happened a few more times during that night. The care aides told me it had also been happening during the nights I was off. After a few more nights, it stopped. I don't believe in ghosts, but that was weird. Yeah, I hope he's not like reliving that and this time just trying to make it to the emergency cord. Or is it just that he is saying, hey, I'm okay? Sometimes we get those strange things that happen. And yes, in the bathroom, for those of you who may not know or have been in the hospital or somewhere, there's always an emergency light in the bathroom because things can happen in there. So you have to be in the room and pull that cord. That is very strange. I hope he's okay though. All right, this is by I don't know. I'm sorry. I I would love for somebody to tell me how to pronounce that. Because I have a very good friend who is from Ireland. She was born there, and yeah, I don't know. I need to ask her. Irish person here. My grandmother once told me of the 3 knocks on the yard door from the kitchen just before her husband passed away. He had a stroke and he was not expected to die. When she went out there was nothing. On the 3rd time she went to the door and opened it, there was an adult swan outside. This was 3 a.m. Wow. Far away from water, and you would not expect to see a swan walking around your front door at night. No, you would not. She got a creepy feeling and shut the door, ran to her husband's side, and began to pray. He passed away within days. A swan? I've never heard of that. Like, I guess it's better than seeing the Grim Reaper if you're just seeing a swan, but like maybe it was an angel trying to be gentle and letting you know that something unexpected was going to happen, that he was going to pass, just like it would be extremely odd to see a swan at your door in the middle of the night. I don't know. What do y'all think? That is very different for sure. And this is by Airy. Thank you, Airy. Let's see. I have been a nurse for 36 years, and while I have never seen a ghost, I've heard stories by others who have. Right before I started to work at the hospital, straight out of nursing school, I was told a PA came to the nurses' station wanting to know who the lady was in his patient's room. His patient had not arrived from the emergency department yet, and the room, oh man, those booms are loud. And the room was empty. He was adamant that another patient was in the room and was able to describe perfectly the little elderly lady. Another story from the same hospital, same floor. The hospital did some renovations, and one of the halls became a skilled nursing facility. One of the nurses told me about hearing typing coming from one of the rooms that was formerly used as an office by the auxiliary director. Sometimes they would hear typing in the room, but no one was able to get in the room without them knowing because the door was locked at all times. When they did check the room, it was always empty. One day, one of the nurses working put a sheet of paper in the typewriter and said out loud, if anyone had a message for them, then type away. Wow, no one ever heard the typing again. Oh, so you just called that ghost bluff. Okay, you got a message? You're sitting here typing? Then here's some paper. Tell me what it is. I think that's funny. Maybe we should start playing with these ghosts and say, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's crazy though. It happens a lot though. When you start doing renovations, like think about all the stories that you hear. The house was fine, people move in, whatever, and then somewhere down the road they decide to do some renovations, and then boom, they have all this stuff. And I think that is very true in old hospitals and facilities like that where they really do some work. It just happens. I don't know. I guess the ghosts are just perturbed. They wanted things to stay like they were. I don't know. But here's the thing. When you're dead, you don't get to say how things are decorated. Okay. I mean, really, the nerve. This one is by Dulcie Midwinter. Did I say that right? 1925. I am in England and worked in an old Victorian hospital, now demolished. I never saw anything, but a couple of my managers said that they often saw a nurse dressed in an old-fashioned uniform in a particular block. She walked into one of their rooms when they were working late and came into the room, stood by her desk, then walked to the window and looked out at the trees, then vanished. She never gave any indication that she was aware of the manager. The nurse made no noise, and after that, the manager said that she realized the door was shut and no one had opened it to come in. She worked late at home after that. Well, I guess when you see an apparition, for sure, you're like, no, I think I'll just take my work home with me. But a lot of these old hospitals, like I said, you see it a lot in Catholic hospitals. I don't know why, but in these old places, it just seems like these ghosts are dedicated after death. They're going to still keep doing their jobs. So, kudos to you, ghosts. If that's what makes you happy. Not me. Okay, this one is by Jacqueline Jacobson. I am a retired ICU RN. I've had 2 spooky experiences in my career. One time, my patient had coded and passed away. We wrapped him, put a sheet over him while waiting for the gurney to take him to the morgue. The lights were turned off in his room and the curtain pulled. I was alone in the room with his body cataloging his belongings when, from the corner of the ceiling, I heard a male voice call my name. Needless to say, I finished cataloging his belongings at the nurse's desk, yes. The other incident happened at 3 a.m. when I was sitting on a chair in the hallway charting. I heard a sudden loud voice right next to my ear yell my name into my ear. It was such a shock that I fell off the chair. Honey, girl, I think I would do the same right off that chair. Yeah, these right in your ear voices and stuff, no. I've definitely heard voices in places, but if it's not in the middle of the night and you don't know you're alone, even though you think that's weird, you don't necessarily think that it's a ghost. But I did have a situation where I heard over the intercom or over, the call light into the room, someone had passed away, and I heard voices in there. And so I went running down the hall thinking that the family had showed up and they didn't know he had passed because we couldn't get a hold of him. And I ran into the room because I heard the voices and there was nothing but the deceased patient there. So who was talking in the room? I don't know. It was weird. Broad daylight, right in the middle of the afternoon. So you never know. All right, I think this is the last one. This is by Lisa Davis, 9535. I was a hospice nurse. It makes you believe in the hereafter. Yes. My most profound experience, though, was when my brother was on hospice. The nurse gave him Thorazine instead of Ativan for sedation because he kept getting up to go somewhere, and it completely knocked him out. I knew he was pretty close to the end and told my sister-in-law when his breathing changed that he was about to pass. My family was sitting or standing around his bed, and his eyes suddenly opened up, and he looked his wife in the eye, and then he looked me in the eye, then my sister, and then my other brother. Then he looked over my brother's head, and he saw something that shocked him, based on his facial expression. And then he passed right at that moment. We feel he was telling us goodbye, and I believe it was my mother who came to get him. I don't know that he believed in an afterlife until that moment, even though we were raised Catholic. He was pretty cynical about it. A year later, we had a party for him. We wrote messages on white balloons and released them. Then, out of a clear blue sky, it began to rain. Warm, gentle rain. Not a cloud in the sky. I'm not cynical at all about an afterlife. Too many things like that have happened. One patient was telling me that she had her ticket and was leaving on the train soon. She wanted to know if I would be coming with her. No. I told her that I couldn't, that I would be taking a train later on. Now, that's a really good answer. She passed away that night. I don't believe any of this is paranormal. I believe it is normal, but unexplained by science. Other cultures who are closer to death saw these things all the time. That is why they worshipped or venerated their ancestors. It isn't frightening to me. It just is, and proves we are very spiritual beings. Yeah, I mean, other cultures do treat things way differently than we do, and they expect all kind of what we would call odd or paranormal, and it's I see what you're saying. It's just not scientifically explained. Is there another dimension? Is that where these ghosts are coming from, or these spirits? Definitely. I think when your brother made that expression, he saw something, and maybe it was your mom. That would be so cool. So, yeah, when you see a lot of stuff, sometimes it may have a real explanation and not be so paranormal, but just out of our understanding or our belief system normal. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope the fireworks didn't bother you too much. Hope you had a wonderful, safe holiday. I will be trying to make more videos more consistently, maybe at least 3 times a week if I can get that. I have got so many stories, so please keep sending them. I would love to do nothing but your stories. That would be awesome. So send them. Either it's hard for me to see them on old videos, but you can always go to my Facebook group, Avalon Cottage, or you can email me at avaloncottage@gmail, or put them in the comments, and I will hope I don't lose them. I will try to get to them and tell your story. All right. In the meantime, y'all, stay safe out there. And, tell Scully hi, give him a thumbs up, and stay spooky. Bye bye.